Welcome to part 4 of Congo, the movie by Kenner from 1995. Today we're going to look at the last two human figures that are not part of the deluxe line anyway, which is Kahega and Monroe. Now, Monroe is kind of the safari expert leader of the expedition into the jungle in the movie. According to Internet Movie Database, his name is not spelled this way, and he's actually Captain Monroe Kelly, while in the book his character is named Charles Monroe. So there's just all kinds of deviations and things all over the place there. This Monroe comes with a capture claw and surprise attack blaster. So here's Monroe out of the package. He was played by Ernie Hudson in the movie, so we can just strike off any kind of resemblance or likeness to Ernie Hudson right off the list. You know, the face is like, you know, somewhere in the ballpark, I guess, but he doesn't even have a mustache. He's wearing, in the movie, he wears kind of more of a baggy, kind of safari-looking outfit. Is that supposed to be a gun? Something. Some kind of equipment on his back there. But he does have a back peg. They've given him a bandolier and kind of this cinched waist belt thing, and he's got a random tear in his shirt, and various knives. One knife with a very long handle and a very short blade there. And just a random knee strap here that doesn't seem to be doing anything except keeping his pants bunched around his knee. So from what I can tell, his lower half is sourced from a Jurassic Park figure, one of the dino trackers, Sergeant T-Rex Turner. He only has one knife strapped in the same place in the same holster and the same boots. So they've added this other knife with some detailing around that. But his top half, I wasn't really able to figure out where it came from. It does look a lot like some of the Aliens line, so I wonder if it was at least sourced from that and modified. He has two accessories. This is his capture claw, which he wears on his hand, which I assume is supposed to capture apes. It doesn't have any kind of articulation to it or anything, so it just kind of slips around a monkey part, I suppose. And this is his surprise attack blaster. It does have a slot for a power diamond, thankfully. The capture claw does not. This thing is so large, I'm not sure what surprise attack portion of it is. He doesn't have any spring-loaded arms or anything like that, so that's generally what they do when they say surprise attack. It also has a peg in it so you can put it on his back. So here's Monroe with all his equipment. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a scope on the top of the capture claw so you can really get a sense of where you're aiming when you're about to capture claw something, but yeah, it flips over his hand very tightly and just kind of sits there. And his enormous assault weapon on the rear. It is kind of strange because the weapons in Congo are all very real world except for the laser, of course. So they really went into the realm of complete fantasy when they geared these guys. Overall, I think he looks like he's, you know, going into the jungle, at least by his outfit and the kind of colors they chose. I guess you could say he's in the same ballpark as the character, so he's not as complete he's not a complete fantasy, I guess you could say. When you compare it to like what they did in Stargate, I think this is much more forgivable. And next up is Kahega with Battle Bazooka and Close Combat Blaster. And here we have the Kahega figure. I'm not positive how you pronounce the gentleman who played his name, but I will put that up on the screen because I don't want to butcher it. He is heavily sourced from an evil raider from the Jurassic Park Dino Trackers line named Skinner. Rather like Monroe, his pants are just completely swiped from that character, including you can tell by the weird crotch texture and the wrapped knee, the gun. That figure does have a skull for a belt buckle, so they did modify it somewhat. But the top half, it looks like it's either sourced from something else or a complete resculpt. In terms of likeness, you know, not terrible. It doesn't look like the actor much. It's certainly not giving him his due credit. And I don't think he's ever shirtless throughout the entire movie. But I'd give him like Monroe, you know, kind of like a in the ballpark, but definitely more of a inspired by than sourced from the movie. And like Monroe, like all the figures in this line, he does have the back hole as well, so you could power him by a diamond if you wanted to. Close combat blaster. It has a scope on it, which you always want on a close combat weapon. It has 3 barrels, I guess, but it does have a back hole peg. Oddly enough, the close combat blaster has no diamond port on it, so this thing is just regular all the time. And his big accessory is the battle bazooka, which doesn't have any spring-loaded missile launchers in it at all, which is amazing given the time. It does have a diamond port at the back here, so you can plug a diamond into it, and I suppose it could shoot lesser diamonds. I don't know. Surprisingly, this is actually made of 2 pieces. The sighting, I guess, here is it's clipped on, so it's a separate piece, so you can kind of rotate it around. And here's Kahega all ready to do some damage. He's one of the only characters that doesn't have straps all over him on his back, so it really makes no sense how he's holding that gun on his back. I guess maybe he's just, so jacked that he's gripping it between his shoulder blades. He holds the bazooka really well. You can move the little targeting thing if you want to have him not looking through it, I guess is the idea there. But he's got no missiles to shoot, so you just have to use your imagination for him. But again, given in the context of this line, I'd say he's pretty decent. It's nice that he's got like a larger body than the other figures, so they all do have a unique profile. He is the most heavily armed. I guess you could argue that Karen Ross's laser is a bigger deal. But in terms of explosive firepower, he is the heaviest armed. And he's also the only one of the human figures who dies in the movie. So there you have it. There's Monroe and Kahega. They're both pretty decent likenesses. All the characters in this line have a pretty consistent color palette, so they look decent together. There's no like wild, crazy colors like where they went with the Dino Raiders in Jurassic Park, where they were all, crazy neon colors and logos all over them. Their weapons are kind of ridiculous. They're way more overpowered than what they ever had in the movie. The capture claw seems to be the strangest one when you've got a guy with nothing but rocket launchers and close combat shotgun weapons, and I'm not exactly sure how capturing fits into the rest of their loadout. But thanks for watching. Now all we have left in terms of figures are the 2 deluxe figures, which is another Monroe and a very large Zinj ape. So thanks for sticking with me as we go through Congo, and stay tuned for more.